radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke Radio. For the masses. Yeah, man. How you doing? How you doing? All right. Today is Monday, April 1st, 2019. 91 days into the new year. Just 274 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of beautiful downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planet. I am your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? What a week we have got coming up on Fade to Black. That's right, tonight, very special guest and our good friend, Alex Mistretta. Alex Mistretta is here. Man, oh man, he's here to give us his report card. That's right. On paranormal research. We're going to go through everything tonight. UFOs, Bigfoot, paranormal, cryptozoology, and everything else that falls underneath that. And if you follow Alex, well, everybody knows what a great friend he is here of the show. He's been with us since the very beginning. And so we have that part. We've had many, many late nights with Alex over the years over at the house. And every time that we've had a dinner party and our little paranormal gatherings and stuff, he's always been the last person to leave, which means we just argued till and he's the best. He's the absolute best out there. So tonight, when somebody's going to hand in their report card to get signed by the parents, it's going to be spot on the money. You know, when your teacher did that to you, you remember that when it was filled out by hand and there was always, a space on the back of the report card for comments by the teacher, and you didn't want comments. I did. I always got comments, but you didn't want comments. You wanted that to be blank, and you had to go home. Your attendance was on there and everything else, right? And you had to go home and somehow get your parents to sign it without getting grounded, right? Well, that's what I feel like tonight. So all of you out there, get ready because Alex Mistretta is here. Also, I tweeted out, Alex finally got on Twitter today, freaked me out. A tweet just popped up and it was from Alex. I thought, wait a minute, he's not on Twitter. He started his Twitter profile today. So everybody go and, yeah, right. No way, Alex. Yeah, exactly. Go and follow Alex Mistretta. It's Alex_Mistretta. And I also noticed that there were a couple there. So do the one where It's got his picture. Okay, Alex _Mistretta. I put it up there in Twitter earlier, so you guys can go and find that tweet and go and follow Alex. He started off today 0 followers. Look at him now, man. He's just rocking it. He's just rocking it. Okay, go follow Alex tonight and get ready. It's going to be a great show. And then tomorrow night, we had to move things around. Billy Carson was originally going to be here tonight for part 2 of his 4-part series. He is traveling here from Greece. He is actually in the air right now, and yeah, we didn't expect this. So we found out yesterday about the change of plans, so we shifted stuff around. No biggie, because Billy Carson is going to be here tomorrow for week 2, and tomorrow night we will be covering the Halls of Amenti. And this is week 2 of his Emerald Tablets of Thoth 4-part series. That's tomorrow night, Billy Carson. Wednesday night, it is Dr. Heather Lynn, and I'm going to hold this up to the cameras here, covering her new book, which is called Evil Archaeology. And there it is. Got the complete book right here. It's a good read, too. Evil Archaeology. That'll be Wednesday night. Demons, Possessions, and Sinister Relics. Yeah, that is Wednesday night. Heather Lynn's back with us. Thursday night, of course, is Fader Night. Open lines all night long. You can follow me on Twitter. Simple, at JChurchRadio. Okay? At JChurchRadio. Now, I just got Alex up there on Twitter. I just redid it again, and there it is tonight, Alex Mistretta, and there's his Twitter link. Everybody go and follow Alex, okay? Go and follow Alex on Twitter. And there is no truer Fadernaut than Alex Mistretta. He was like the first. You know what? I don't know if it's him. They kind of travel in pairs. Him and Steve Murillo, right? And of course, Wolf McCarran. Those three are typically cited together. And for a lot of different reasons, but it all starts with MUFON LA too as well, going back. Oh man. Okay, so that ended 5-6 years ago, and then you add 13. So 19 years, those three guys have been together from MUFON Los Angeles all the way now through UPARS to today. So I'm not so sure who the original Fadernaut is. I would probably, because I've known Wolf for 30 years, I kind of default. It goes to Wolf McCarran. But who's the OG? Who is the OG Fadernaut? Is it Alex Mistretta, or is it Murillo or Wolf McCarran? Because Murillo was the first guest on the show. I don't know. Wow. Okay, well, anyway. Alex Mistretta is here with us tonight. Very excited about that. And again, follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. What you want to do if you want to join in on the conversation tonight and check out what everybody's doing, especially today, it is April 1st, is at JChurchRadio, and then hashtag F2B. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. We have not only the sandbox, which is hashtag F2B, but we have Spreaker. We have that chat room. We have KGRA's chat room. And we have the sandbox. And you can also email me, Jimmy, at jimmychurchradio.com. Aviation American Gin. I used to be a gin drinker. When I was a kid, for some reason, I liked gin. I did. Gin, sparkling water, and twist of lime. And that's a good drink right there. That's a really good drink. I don't know why I ever fell out of that. I used to really enjoy drinking gin. I did it. I started drinking it because I had a friend's dad who drank it. And we were, able to procure our alcohol from his dad's liquor cabinet. And it was always gin, and then, of course, Kiss, right? Cold gin time again. And it was, it was like Paul Stanley. I think it was Paul Stanley saying that. Was it Paul? Or Or was that Gene? Who sang Cold Gin? Let me see. Who's going to pop up first on Twitter? The person that tells me who sang Cold Gin without Googling it, I'll send you a Fade to Black coffee mug, and then you can drink your gin out of that. All right, let's see who pops up first. Gene? John Ledford says Gene. Is that correct? Okay. John Ledford came in first. So it was Gene that said Cold Gin. Yeah, you guys, alcoholics, every single one of you. Okay. Everybody says Gene. Yeah. I thought about that as it started to come out, and I was like, man, it had to have been Gene, right? Nope, it's not Gene. Oh, and that's from Meow. Then who was it? It wasn't Peter Criss. I can tell you that. It wasn't Ace Frehley. Written by Ace. Okay, keep it going. Written by Ace. Poor Ace, man. I feel so bad for that guy. Come on, keep it coming. Keep it coming. I need to know. You guys got to be faster. See, now, when it's delayed like this, everybody's searching, right now. Now it's changed to Paul Stanley because Kevin looked it up on Wikipedia. Oh, man. You guys are... Freely wrote the song. Okay, all right. Okay, I realize that all of you guys are Googling now. I needed a Kiss fan. Freely wrote the song. Okay, I get it. They both did, Paul and Gene. Oh, they both sang it. Okay, all right. Where am I at? See, it's UFOs and guitars here on Fade to Black. Okay. Email throughout the show, Jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. Let's get to all of the breaking news today. Brexit remains deadlocked. That's right. UK Parliament rejects all of the alternative plans today. I think they voted 4 times. UK lawmakers, yet again, failed to agree on an alternative to Prime Minister Theresa May's Brexit plan, prolonging the political deadlock. I was watching the debate live. So great. There is no better reality TV than UK Parliament, the UK Parliament cam. Oh, man, that was funny stuff. Man, that was cracking me up. And I knew it was going to get around to it. You know, let's just bail without a plan. Let's just exit. Let's just stay. You know, it's crazy. Sad news yesterday. Rapper Nipsey Hussle was shot and killed after exiting, apparently, his store that he has in Los Angeles. And it's a clothing store. 2 other people were injured in the shooting. It happened in the afternoon yesterday at about 3:20 p.m., and that was all according to the police department. The shooting occurred in the area of Slauson Avenue and Crenshaw Boulevard. And Nipsey Hussle. And look, just an all-around cool guy. All-around cool guy. Cared about the neighborhood, cared about Los Angeles, cared about the kids, cared about the community and changing things, and was a driving force in all of that. It just doesn't make any sense. And he was immensely talented. Just absolutely crazy. Nipsey Hussle shot and killed yesterday in Los Angeles. Discovery Channel has announced plans to open an Egyptian sarcophagus for the first time live on television. That's right. Visions of Geraldo, right? Just play out, right? They're going to do it. And it's an upcoming special titled The Expedition Unknown Egypt Live with our friend Josh Gates. The 2-hour live event is set to air this week on Sunday, April 7th. Are you going to tune in for that? That means you're going to have to miss American Gods, but then again, you could tape it. You would have to miss, what else are we watching, Rita? Oh, Billions. Oh, man, Billions. American Gods, 2 great shows. Barry also kicked up its new season, and I watched episode 1 last night. Pretty good. And with Bill Hader. And then Veep, but I haven't seen it. And then Veep, apparently, they aired, did the premiere, and then they announced the show's being canceled, but I guess they're going to play out this season. All right. Also, earlier today, the White House declares that the mysterious 1908 Tunguska explosion has been solved. That's right. And this is a quote from the White House saying that the culprit was very, very big wind. Big winds that no longer exist. End quote. So I guess we can close the book on that. And also, there was major success today for the Flat Earth expedition that was announced last month as they finally reached Antarctica after taking off from Austria and headed straight north to prove that the Earth was flat. Major, major success today. And also earlier today, CNN uncovered what was redacted out of the Mueller report. This is big news. And one of the redacted items was that the logo for the Space Force is going to be a blue avian. That's right, as suggested by Russia's Vladimir Putin, because in Russia, bluebirds represent hope. And finally, Blue Eagle eggs hatched today on the live Eagle Cam in Boulder, Colorado. And people celebrated all across the nation while watching the little blue hatchlings break out of their shells live on the interweb. And that's it. That's all of the breaking news I have today. We have Alex Mistretta here, and we'll be discussing all of this breaking news and much more. And don't forget the Surfer Music streaming app. You need to download it and get this on your phones. Okay? It is free to download, nothing to do, no giving up your information or email, nothing like that. All you got to do is go to the banners at jimmychurchradio.com or go to surfer.fm. I keep saying it. It's super easy. It's super fun. And all you have to do is download it and get it on your phone. I'm going to show you right here. I have the Surfer streaming app right there. Boom. On my phone. That's what I use. Surfer.fm. All right. Our next event is Contact in the Desert, May 31st, June 3rd, in Indian Wells, Palm Springs, California, at the Renaissance Indian Wells Resort and Spa. We've got 3 Fade to Black events that we're doing that weekend. Of course, Friday night, Fade to Black live in front of a studio audience. Saturday night, I'll be hosting the awards dinner. And you need tickets for that. That's Saturday night. I want all Fadernauts there, by the way. And that's really close to getting sold out. So go and get your tickets for that. And then Sunday night, of course, I always host the Sunday night panel closing ceremonies. And there you go. So we got 3 nights of Fade to Black, and we'll see all of you there. And then coming up, July 4th weekend at the Sunrise Ranch in beautiful Loveland, Colorado. It's our Soltech 2.0 conference. You can sign up for tickets and info right now at soultechgathering.com. And everything that you need is there. Full contact, full speaker schedule, accommodations, food, lodging, bios, and a full conference schedule. Everything is right there at soultechgathering.com. All right. Don't forget to visit all of our sponsors here. Okay. And I really mean that. And of course, I'm talking about Ancient Life Oil, Life Change Tea, River Moon Coffee, Hoffman's Optics. If you need night vision goggles, you ever wanted to check them out, Hoffman's Optics, hoffmansoptics.com. All right. Sacred Skulls, Numana Food Storage, emergency food. All of that is at jimmychurchradio.com. All of the promo codes, all of the banners, click on them and visit all of our sponsors. This is how this show happens. All right? Okay. Happy birthday to today. Mackenzie David is 31. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, who is Mackenzie David? As I raise my chair. Mackenzie David is the hacker computer genius in the TV show Halt and Catch Fire. She's amazing. 31 years old from Canada, and she's great in that show. That show, I've watched every episode, every season. An amazing, amazing show. And if you ever wondered about the history of computers, they break it down, they change the names, and they do all of that, but it's really the the story of the internet and computers and the technology. It's really a cool TV series. Halt and Catch Fire. Happy birthday to best known for Singing in the Rain, but she also married. He died later that afternoon. Unbelievable story. Happy birthday, Debbie Reynolds. On this day in history, 1970, President Richard Nixon signs legislation to officially ban cigarette ads on television and radio. And I can't believe I'm old enough to remember those. And I still do. There's just a few of those cigarette commercials that stick in, and hearing them on the radio. And it's pretty funny that it went on all the way up to 1970. Pretty trippy. And I am starting to feel old when I can tell that story. Fate or fact? Okay, I want you to listen to me. Jupiter does not orbit the sun. It does not. Now, I know what you're thinking. Wait a minute, Jimmy. Jupiter orbits the sun. It doesn't. No, it does not. Now, I know you need an explanation, and I'm going to give that to you right now. But Jupiter does not orbit the sun. It is so huge that the center of gravity of its orbit is not actually at the center of the sun, like it is for Earth or Venus or Mercury, right? Or Mars. No. Jupiter doesn't orbit the center of the sun. Jupiter and the sun orbit around the same point in space. That's right. You didn't know that, did you? Now, I want you to visualize the sun has its own orbit. The sun is at the center of our universe doing this. And where it is orbiting is where Jupiter orbits. Jupiter does not orbit the sun. We do. Now, is that the trippiest? I've done a lot of Fader facts. I've done a lot. That one is trippy. And that one you can take to the bank. And that one you can whip out at a party. The water cooler at work. Jupiter does not orbit the sun. And so now, this is the thing. They'll talk about Jupiter's orbit, that it takes 12 years to go around the sun. But they don't point out that it's not orbiting the sun. Ain't that a trip? Yeah, another Fader fact, Jupiter is flat. I know, I thought about that too. I'll do that one next week. But yeah, ain't that a trip? That's a trip. Okay, all right, this is what I want to do. Later on tonight, and I might do this sporadically throughout the show. I may take some phone calls with Alex Mistretta. But I want you to tell me tonight, when you call in, which one of my news stories was real. In the breaking news, which ones were fake. And if you got a really good breaking news story today that you need to announce on this April 1st and test me, right? I'll open up the phone lines. Okay, so don't get excited. I'll announce when we do that. And I'm certainly going to open up the phone lines at the end of the show. Okay, and we'll do that and we'll have a free-for-all. But it's April Fool's Day. And there were some good April Fools. Oh, I didn't get to the main one. I spaced right by it. Today, the, was it the R83? What's it called? The RS, is it the RS-85? Yeah. Okay, so today there's this breaking news story on Hush Kit and also on Defense PK that the RS-85 Mach 6 Aurora spy plane was real. And it flew from 19, what was it? 93 to 2018, I think it was, and that it went Mach 6, and they lay out the whole thing, this press release, and it replaced the SR-71, and it was RS-85 Dolos. I believe the Project Dolos was an extension of Project Aurora, a 1980s military program. Well-written article, right? And I went through and I read that, and I was like, really? It's April 1st, right? And that one, I didn't fall for John Greenwald's. He does the same thing every year. I did fall for it a couple of years ago, and I remember calling him up going, dude, what happened? Dude, it's April Fool's. Oh, okay, all right. But this one I took hook, line, and sinker for about, I'm going to give it 5 minutes. 5 minutes, because I immediately went, as I'm starting to feel a little shaky about it, because I was going to do it as a breaking news story. It was like the biggest story of the last 25 years, right? So, and I go to grab pictures. They're announcing that it's going to be at Wright-Patterson at the Air Force Museum in 2020, that 5 of them were built. And I mean, I was like, wow. And, of course, there was no DOD press release, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And then I just stopped, and I went, they got me. It's April 1st. Ugh. But there you go. That was a good one. So if you got any good ones today, like that one, see, nobody's going to be able to call in with that one. But if you got any good ones, call in tonight, and let's have some fun with that. And we'll see. Maybe some of them are real. And you might get one past me. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight is Alex Mistretta. He's got a report card. We're going to be discussing everything that is going on right now in our paranormal community. And I'll be right back after this short break. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. And you can follow Alex_Mistretta on Twitter. I'll be right back after this short break. Stay with me.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Yes, Rivermoon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from Rivermoon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hey folks, guess what the #1 phrase that Life Change Tea receives by email? You ready? We love this tea. We love this tea. Time after time, week after week, we love this tea. Life Change Tea gives you more energy. a beautiful cleansing, and fulfills its slogan perfectly. The tea that makes you go. So if you want to be on your health game, log on to getthetea.com and order Life Change Super Strength Tea. Packages come in a 1-month supply, and when you brew this stuff, wait until you see the results. Aren't we all about the results? And with a lot of people's health struggling, we can use a little bit of help. Doctors will tell you disease starts in the gut. So log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Be our next email saying, I love this tea. I love this tea. Get the tea at getthetea.com. Helping America one tea bag at a time.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Do you want to lose weight but have no idea where to begin? The Fast Start Diet, a 3-day weight loss plan, is the answer. 3 days of nutritionally balanced, calorie-restricted meals delivered right to your door. No shopping, no measuring, and no cooking. Everything is prepared for you and ready to eat at home or on the go. The Fast Start Diet has all the amazing benefits of intermittent fasting without starving. We've helped thousands of people who have struggled to reach their weight loss goals. Isn't it time we helped you? With the Fast Start Diet, you'll lose weight and feel great.
Find Fast Start Diet on Amazon or go to faststartdiet.com and use promo code TALK to get 10% off your first box. And as a special bonus, Fast Start will include their #1 rated Lipo3 appetite suppressant spray free with your order. This is Jimmy Church. And whatever your diet plans are, do what I did. Go to faststartdiet.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Alex Mistretta is here, the OG Fadernaut. He's going to give us a full rundown on the status of UFO, paranormal, Bigfoot, and supernatural research. Alex is one of the few full-time professional investigators in the field. He is the former MUFON Los Angeles Director of Investigations, founder of Phenomena Research, co-founder of the UFO and Paranormal Research Society of Los Angeles, former member of Big Cats in Britain. Following his studies in anthropology and psychology at the University of Illinois in Chicago, he has devoted his life to research in the paranormal, UFOs, hidden history, and cryptozoology. Described as part Mulder and part Indiana Jones, Alex has also been featured on several television shows, including The UFO Files and Legend Hunters. He's the author of The Presence, which is being updated right now and slated for re-release later in 2019. And I would like to welcome back to Fade to Black, Alex Mistretta. Alex, good evening, man. How are you?
I'm great, man. Thank you very much for having me on, and hello to all the Fadernauts.
So, Steve, who is the original Fadernaut? Is it you? Steve. Alex, is it you, Steve, or Wolf?
Probably Steve, right? 'Cause he was your first guest.
Yeah.
So Wolf probably dates back to the furthest with you, so I don't know. It wasn't me, though.
Yeah. So you're declining that. Okay. It's kind of tough when I think about the Fadernauts, this audience, our friends, our circle, and the three of you, you, Steve, and Wolf, have been a part of this from day one. And I've known you for such a long time, and so to the Fadernauts, you are pure OG.
You know what, though? I would say Wolf, because he kind of likes to be the guy,
Yeah, I know. He, you know what? No matter where Wolf is, no matter what he's doing, if I call him up, I don't care what he's doing. Hey, man, you want to come over for dinner and drinks? What time? Right? It's just like, I'm there.
Yeah. That describes him to a T.
He does not want to miss. He's got to be the center of it all. And he's the best for that. So, Alex, I want to go through. We've got so much to discuss tonight, okay? And I want to talk about. I want to get things started off here because we're going to get very, very serious. And there's a lot of serious breaking news today. And can I go through some of these headlines?
Yeah, of course.
The Tunguska explosion, which some think that it may have been a UFO. It might have been a nuclear explosion detonation from some kind of unidentified aircraft. It might have been an exploding asteroid or meteor, not a meteorite because it didn't hit the Earth yet. But certainly a strange explosion that remained unexplained. And today, the White House announced that it was wind.
Really, really, really strong wind.
How are you buying into this story? I mean, or is this just a smokescreen to throw us off?
Oh, it's got to be a smokescreen. Isn't it everything?
Yeah, I know, right? And certainly Washington is used to really big wind, and that was the other thing that kind of made sense to me in this story.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not buying it. I mean, really, really strong wind. And the second part of that was that wind doesn't exist today anymore. What does that mean?
Yeah, I don't understand that. And I would immediately went with climate change. Is that what they're trying to do here? And they're trying to tie all of this in together. And I just think it's some kind of false flag. It's definite disinformation and misdirection.
I think it's kind of like a hidden anti-climate change.
Yeah, I'm feeling uncomfortable with that. And then the other, we have all of these breaking stories today. And the flat Earth, okay, this is what is bizarre. That in the press release today, that they finally reached Antarctica, right? By taking off north from Austria, and that's what they did. And for them to finally reach Antarctica, do they realize that by this type of announcement, am I reading this right, that they actually went around the world and didn't know it? Around the globe?
I think this guy's been going around the globe for a lot longer than that and not know it.
Yeah, I know, right? Right? And what does this say? I mean, is there any way, because they go and they do this expedition, they head straight north, they finally make it to Antarctica by going north, and they think that they made it to the edge of the world. Is there any way to convince a flat earther, if this didn't do it, that the Earth is round? What do we do about this?
I think there's no way ever going to convince a flat earther of anything at this point. They're growing.
Right, and they are planning another expedition down to Antarctica, and they're going to start from the south and go due south. Would that prove anything to them, or are we just going to be up against the same type of press release?
It's all going to prove everything to them. I think that's the point.
It is, isn't it? Now, let's move on. These two other stories, and one involved CNN, and which the Mueller report, which was released 2 weeks ago on Friday, it finished, I should say. It hasn't been released, but there's a bunch of redactions in it, and one of the redactions is that the logo from the Space Force is going to be a blue avian. Now, and I immediately scratched my head, and then it turns out that this was who suggested this?
The blue avian?
What's that?
I'm not sure. I don't remember what the exact quote was.
Oh, I think it's Putin from Russia.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because in Russian, the bluebird means hope. Kind of like the Obama thing.
Right. And so is this okay, this is where I need to get to the bottom line of this. Is Putin in on this? Does he know the significance of what a blue avian would mean for the Space Force logo? Or in Russia, is that the bottom line that that blue birds mean hope?
Putin knows everything, Jimmy. Putin knows everything.
I know, right? I know. And then this other story today about blue eagle eggs that hatched. Yeah, they hatched today on the live eagle cam that runs in Boulder, Colorado. And you can go, anybody can go and look at the eagle cam in Boulder, Colorado, and go and check it out. And there was a big story that broke about the mom eagle and the dad eagle, her boyfriend, and he kind of splits for a little bit. And then this young stud eagle stops by and he kind of starts dating. This is like and then he splits and the old man comes back. It was like a really, really big story. And you can watch this whole thing play out. The eggs that are in the nest and stuff, and you can go to the Eagle Cam and watch it. And today, the blue eggs hatched, and people celebrated all across the United States today while watching the little blue hatchlings break out of their shells live on the interweb. And that's pretty exciting news, don't you think?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I haven't really looked into it, but sounds legit to me.
Well, see, the thing is, that combined with this other CNN Mueller report, the Blue Eagles right now are in the news. And I don't think that's coincidence.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing a little more research on it, but I'm really afraid someone's going to give away my phone number, my address, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
For safety's sake, I'm staying out of it.
Yeah, I think all of us need to be a little paranoid about that kind of stuff today. But there you go. Crazy news today on this April 1st.
Insane.
Okay, Alex, since you're a man of many words, and I said earlier tonight, I'm pretty sure, I'm confident in saying this, that every little party that we've had, dinner party at the house, that you were the last person to leave. Am I correct in saying that?
Well, I'm trying to eat as much of Rita's food and your barbecue as possible.
Yeah, right.
For people who haven't been there, it's like it's worth it.
And those conversations that we have had over there, I would say are about as spirited of any conversation that you could have in the paranormal. And we've never really left a subject untouched. And I want you to say, yes, that's right. That's right, right?
No, that is 100% correct.
Is there, do you consider yourself somebody that holds back?
No, clearly not. Obviously I'm going to hold back a little bit with, when I do radio shows like yours tonight, not to offend anyone, but generally speaking, I speak my mind. I don't like to hold back. I think this field deserves complete honesty.
How long have you been researching in the paranormal?
Well, I did my first investigation. I was age 12. So that kind of tells you. 12, yep.
Now, see, okay, I didn't know about this. What did you research at the age of 12? What happened?
We moved to London for about 6 months. My stepdad was recording an album over there. And we lived around the corner from 50 Berkeley Square, the famous horror of Berkeley Square.
Right.
The famous haunted location in London.
Right.
I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it. And so we went. I had a book, I had a list of all the hunting places in London, and I was going to see what was like walking distance from our house, and this was right around the corner. So I went, and I was planning to knock on the door and be like, hey, I'm an American guy. Can I come in and take some photographs and check out your house, As it turns out, it was a bookstore. So I just kind of went in, and most of the hunting, and the stories takes place in the third and fourth floor, which was off limits. And so I hung out on the first floor, for a little bit. There was about 2 people working there. And I waited till one of them went around the counter, and the other person was looking, and I ran up the stairs to the third and the fourth floor and took some pictures. And until I heard some footsteps coming down the stairs from the top of the floor, and then I kind of freaked out a little bit, and I left because I didn't want to end up, in jail or whatever. And when the pictures came back, in fact, so I took about, it was 35 millimeters, right? Back in those days, it was a film. Took 35 pictures. I did the whole roll. Every picture I took from the first and the second floor came out perfectly. And all the pictures from the third and the fourth floor were allegedly, all the weird stuff took place, came out veiled, or with like a little bit of lights here and there. So that was my first investigation, and from then on, I was pretty much hooked.
Do you still have those pictures today?
No, I have no idea what happened to them, unfortunately.
Yeah. I've got, you know what I have from when I was 12 years old? Nothing. I got nothing. I've got absolutely nothing. My parents still have stuff, but I don't know how my parents managed to hang on to stuff. But I don't have anything from when I was 12. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, we moved around so much. I had kept a whole lot of stuff from when I was a kid. So
right. But the first 2 floors crystal clear. Floors 3 and 4 blurred.
Completely veiled, not blurred, like veiled, like there was some kind of like a veil, like a mist in front of the lens.
Right. Was it haunted?
And granted, like the lighting was different, right? It was a little bit darker in the 3rd and 4th floor because I didn't have to have customers that could, see the books and all that. But I don't know what it means, but it just got me going. It was exciting, age 12, at age 12, everything's a ghost, everything, every light in the sky is a UFO, you get a lot more excited about that stuff. So that kind of was my origin story.
Well, and there's one other thing about you, Alex, that you are responsible for some of the most amazing images that have been distributed out there in the paranormal. That's number one. Most people don't know that you are the origin of these photographs and stories and reports, and some of this stuff goes back a long, long ways. Very, very famous investigated paranormal and UFO stories, and including some of the most recent stuff, which is the Trepang UFO series of photographs, which is a story that you uncovered and broke. I have now seen those images all over television. I see them all the time on the internet. I've seen them in a couple of books that have been sent to me. And as phenomenal as the images are and the story is, most don't attribute that back to you, because one of the things that I don't see you do is stand up and shout, "Look at me." Right? All you want is honest, hard research out there. I hate saying boots on the ground, but with you, that's exactly what happens. Why is that, Alex, that you have chosen to go down the path of research and not the path of stardom?
That's a good question. I don't know. I've tried, occasionally you'll see my posts on Facebook, I'm like, all right, I'm going to be a little harder. I'm going to bring attention to myself. I'm going to talk crap. But, it's not really my nature ultimately, and I hate to do it. But you sort of have to do it to a certain extent these days if you want any attention. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I just think that, I sort of have this naive perception that research should kind of speak for itself. And you should get attention from the work that you do, not because, you're great on camera.
Right. But you are.
And part of it is I'm not great on camera, so I realize that's not my strength. My strength is in research and probably being able to kind of tell what's real and what's not. That's kind of, I think, so I kind of try to focus on that. But yeah, I don't know.
Okay, let's start to break this down. We're going to do this in a few different segments tonight. And we're calling this the a paranormal report card tonight. We're going to break all of this down. When you started, started at the age of 12 was the first thing that you did over in England, and I get that. But as far as getting your feet wet here in the paranormal, supernatural, UFO community, was there a researcher back then that you admired and looked up to and said, this is really cool and this is what I admire and this is what I would like to do?
There was in cryptozoology, which was Bernard Heuvelmans, which is a Belgian cryptozoologist that a lot of people don't even know existed. Because he was the first academic to kind of take a look at, what was considered paranormal back in those days. But from the UFO or paranormal side, I really didn't, I didn't have anybody specifically that I kind of looked up to. And, you have to remember, too, back in those days, the internet wasn't quite as prevalent as it is today. So you didn't have access to all this information, all these researchers. You just had kind of whatever books kind of came out. So there's nobody specifically, figurehead-wise that I really looked up to be honest.
So it was, and the reason why I asked, it was the crypto side of things, the cryptozoology side of things that drew you in first?
No, actually, the UFO thing was kind of drew me in first as a kid. Somebody bought me a comic book, and I was visiting my grandparents who lived in a small village in France. And I think my grandfather, I'm guessing, bought me this huge, hardback comic book, and it was all stories about real life UFO events from the first abduction in Brazil in 1957 to you name it. It was all on there, and that was kind of like my first, because it's a true story on it. That was my first inkling, and I was like, wow, this stuff actually happens. And this had been 8, maybe.
Right. And but it was interesting that it was a cryptozoology researcher that you admire first. And who were you? Because we're going to talk about what's going on today, and I want the audience to get a feel for what acclimated you to UFO research and where your, where you hold the bar as far as solid research is. And so let's look at the UFO side of things. Back when you started into this, who were the UFO researchers that you admired that did it the right way?
Back then, I think Linda Moulton Howe, because that was right kind of after she did her cattle mutilation study, right? I still have the original books. That I thought had the biggest impact, come to think of it, only because it was something tangible that you can measure. And I started thinking that, wait, this is not just about looking up in the sky and hoping that you're going to see something or going back and taking, people's sightings, reports and all that. There's actually a physical evidence that you can go down and measure and correlate to the UFO phenomena. And that had a huge impact on the way I would go on to investigate later on.
Well, that's an interesting point to make, because tangible evidence in the UFO field, because of what that represents. I mean, what could be evidence, right? In the UFO, that's the holy grail. So what do you consider evidence in the UFO field?
None of it so far. I don't think we have any evidence, hard evidence whatsoever. We have, because everything's kind of correlated, right? We have these abduction reports and we have, implants, right? But it's still just a correlation. There's no direct cause because we don't really know how those got in there. So it doesn't count to me. Even the cattle mutilation today, we know that UFOs have been seen around the cattle the night before, the day after, whatever. But aside from maybe a handful of eyewitness that claim to have seen, the cattle lift UFOs off the ground, we don't know for sure. I think the evidence is out there. I honestly 100% believe that there's structures out there left over, maybe in, places like Siberia. I know there's a lot of tails down there. There's absolutely bodies. There has to be a DNA trace somewhere, either buried or even within our own DNA. But I 100% don't think any of the claims that's come forth so far in terms of evidence is sufficient.
Well, okay. So what do we do about sightings, video, photographs, and sightings of witnesses? We'll get back. We'll circle back around to the abduction side of things. But you and I personally had that fantastic sighting out in 29 Palms with Steve and the rest of the Fadernauts when we were out on the patio there, when that thing shot up out of the middle of the desert floor and went straight up and into the stars. Now, when something like that happens, it could be, paranormal, supernatural. It could be some interdimensional spirit being orb. I don't know what it was, but clearly it happened when somebody said it'd be cool if we saw a UFO. And you being there, what did you think you saw that night?
I think we saw something abnormal, something anomalous there. So it fits, it fits the UFO model. Look, I've seen maybe 5 or 6 UFOs in my lifetime, including up close. 100% they're real, they exist. But that's different than saying that you can prove it. And that's kind of like, I think we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard when it comes to evidence, because ultimately we have to prove this to the rest of the world, to the non-believers. And look, I've seen a UFO. I was on a plane one time coming back from Canada, and I saw this this beige brown object kind of tailed the plane right outside my window, and I saw it. It wasn't even that far, So 100%, it couldn't have been anything else, right? It was anomalous. It was, by very definition, it was a UFO. But it's still, to me, it's still non-hard evidence.
You
doesn't count.
Yeah. Okay. You had an amazing. You made contact in Beverly Hills in your backyard, right?
Yeah, correct. When I was 10. Yeah.
Yeah, you made contact. And what more do you need for proof?
Oh, it's not me. I'm 100% convinced.
Right.
But it's not about me. I think I kind of like to. Arrogantly, I guess, kind of think of myself as trying to kind of bridge, the gap between us, people who've had experiences, or people, researchers, and the rest of the world that knows absolutely nothing, So I always try to think what would be considered evidence and what's sufficient for those people, for the people that don't believe in it or don't know anything about the phenomena. Look, I can, like that experience when I was 10, it was up close. I've seen it. There's 2 other witnesses. There's no doubt, right, in my mind. But it's still just a story, and we know how memory isn't particularly reliable, and we know our
Oh, we lost you. We lost you, Alex. We got to reset the phones. We're going to take a break here anyway. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight is Alex Mistretta, and I'm just looking at Thomas's tweet here. It says, "How can this guy say there is no sufficient evidence? Has he ever heard of?" That's not what he said. Well, that is what he said. And that is Alex Mistretta. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We'll be right back after this short break on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Introducing the new Surfer Music app. Listen, Fade or not, you know I love my music. This is my go-to for all things notes. The Surfer app is a brand new concept in music listening. Surfer is free, providing unlimited access to thousands of live streaming radio stations. Surfer is an exciting, interactive listening experience. Discovery and surprise are built right in. Surfer is your destination to discover and rediscover great live streaming music. It features high-quality audio streams, free access to music from thousands of live streaming radio stations, unlimited listening, unlimited skipping. You get a music visualizer, and you can also select your favorite channels. Get it at the Apple App Store or Google Play. Just search Surfer Music or click on the Surfer banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go Beckley Tappy.
Folks, this is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied. But you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with, you fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers.
Yes.
We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
Reclaim your active lifestyle with Angioprim. Angioprim is the original liquid oral chelation supplement. Chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in your veins and arteries that can cause blockages. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. Find out more. Go to angioprim.com. Talk to a trained consultant by calling Angioprim toll-free 877-882-7221.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hey, it's Grace. Can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, our guest is Alex Mistretta, one of the very few full-time professional investigators in our community. He's been everywhere. And when I say that, he was the MUFON Los Angeles Director of Investigations, and what comes with that is the Los Angeles chapter MUFON used to be, I don't know where it is now, the largest chapter in the world of MUFON, and huge monthly meetings that I used to go to back in the day. And that says a lot right there, Alex. And you've been watching this community with its ebb and flow with tensions, going around for years. Where are we at today with the community?
Split.
Yes.
I think we're a little bit in a mess. I think it's a lot more infight than it used to be. I think it's become a little more popular, and there's a little bit more money from television. I don't think we're in a good place. At least personally, I don't like where we're at right now.
Why?
Because it's become about the personalities, not so much about research and what's true, what's not. It doesn't seem to matter anymore. And it's a lot more polarized than it used to be. It's like, and I think that obviously that's reflected in other aspects of our country and the world. But it's like either one side is right all the time, and everybody else is wrong. There's no more middle ground in our field, it seems like. And not just that, but I see a lot of people kind of grouping together, trying to kind of have a monopoly on the information that's coming forward, and that worries me a little bit.
Has that always been there, though?
Yeah, I think so. I think maybe not to this extent, though. And I don't know, maybe I'm more frustrated with it now that I used to be, so maybe I notice it more, But I think we've always had the potential to go in that direction, but I just think that the extra attention placed upon the field, mostly I think by, from television, it's kind of amped that up. It's like it's on crack.
Well, it in years gone past, and I may be wrong, Alex, but we had the Billy Meyer group, right? And that whole thing, and then we had the Richard Hoagland Face on Mars crowd. We had all of that, and then of course the Roswell crowd surfaced too as well, and William Moore and what was going on with him. And then you can throw in the MJ-12 documents. And, this is going back, 30, 35, 40 years for a lot. And then you had Wendell Stevens and all of his photographs and evidence and crash retrieval information. You know what I mean? Where we had, we always had different groups that were, on the playground, saying that their modality was the correct one.
Yeah, no, you're right, but they didn't team up like they do today, and I think that's a little bit of a new deal. You look at the whole the ATIP and Academy of the Stars and all that, and team them up with various known personalities in UFO field and other groups. And these entities are becoming a little bigger, I think, than they used to be.
Right.
And I think that's a little bit of a concern.
And where you were with MUFON for a very, very long time. In fact, that's how I met you, was through MUFON.
Yeah, 13 years.
13 years you were there. Where is MUFON today in the UFO community?
On the bottom. I think they've lost all sense of perspective. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of the local chapters, I have great investigators. I have all the respect, like Ruben, which is, head of a chapter up north. There's a lot of great investigators.
I'm losing you again, Alex. Your reception is crapping out.
Let me move another spot in my apartment.
Okay.
Is this better?
Okay. Well, we'll find out. Go ahead and repeat that. You said Northern California, I think?
Yeah, for example, you have Ruben Oriarty up there who does fantastic work, right? There's a lot of excellent investigators within MUFON, but I think MUFON as a group has completely lost its ways. And they're becoming irrelevant. I want to be honest.
Yeah, and why do you? Okay, but why? That's the question. Why do you think that? When you have an organization with such a storied history, it would seem to be able to attract the best investigators and attract the best UFO sightings and cases, that they would have nothing but growth and respect. Why the downward direction in MUFON?
I think because they've refused to take a stand on a lot of important issues. Now, obviously, it started with, I think, with certain individuals that, part of the board that was kind of, had borderline white supremacists, to be honest, and MUFON did nothing, absolutely nothing to counteract that. They ignored it. They also they've been endorsing whoever's kind of popular, whoever the latest whistleblower. Well, let's do a conference with that guy because he's popular.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what MUFON was supposed to stand for. It was supposed to be a scientific investigative group, right? At its base, it says so in their motto. So they've they go after the money. Now they're hooking themselves up with various television shows again for money and basically to be up there with the big boys. None of it's about research anymore. None of it's about looking for the truth. It's about positioning yourself within the UFO community, and that takes a lot of energy and time. And I think, look, their time has passed. I think it's time. I think all groups at some point kind of go away. But I think, for me personally, the refusal to take a stand on specific issues for what's right was the beginning of their downfall.
How can they turn it around? If you were in control, what would you do to turn around MUFON?
First of all, I would fire everybody at the top.
Okay.
And just start from fresh. All those. I mean, and look, some of those guys at the top are probably pretty good guys, right? And I don't, I've been away for too long. I don't know everybody that well or at all, really. But if they've been willing to, grow up here, take a stand, and do what's right, they don't belong. They don't belong in running a UFO group, because this isn't about preaching to the choir, right? Me falling originally was supposed to be the bridge between what we know to be true and the rest of the world, and bring out information to the rest of the world, and elevate the UFO, right, phenomena in public consciousness, so to speak. And I've been doing none of that. It's all been very self-serving. So I would just get rid of everybody and start from scratch.
With UFO research in general, when you have somebody out there that has had a sighting or has made contact, somebody like me, which I have, right. How do they? How do you keep their interest in the subject without getting discouraged these days? Because it seems like going to MUFON with your sighting or report, nothing may happen. And I've heard these stories over and over again where I've gotten email. I had the sighting. I contacted MUFON. Nobody reached out to me. So I'm contacting you. What do I do? What advice do you give to somebody to keep them positive about what is going on?
Honestly, there's not much you can say, because we can't follow up with everyone. When I was an investigator, I always called somebody on the phone and tried to meet them face to face every single time if I could. And then you sort of have to follow up, after that, so how they feel about things and all that. But there isn't an answer, because we don't have a large enough group and a large enough funding source that we can follow up with all those people on a regular basis. But I think a modicum of respect should be to at least call somebody that reports a sighting, at the very least. And that needs to be done, at least get in touch with them. It's not, because then otherwise they feel like they're just giving you what happened to them. For a lot of people, this is very personal, right? We forget sometimes we're taking out a lot of reports and sightings, but there's people behind those. And some of those encounters are traumatic for some of these individuals, and we need to understand that and deal with that accordingly. So I think that's the first step, is understanding that these are actual people, and you should follow up with absolutely everybody if you can. But that's tough to do. I had a guy even 2-3 years ago. Obviously, this had nothing to do with UPARs or MUFON or anything. It was me personally. This guy called me about his sighting, and I called him back. I'm like, well, give me a couple of days to see when I can come up and see you. And a day later, he called me 14 times. He left 14 messages, and one of them, he threatened to kill me with a shotgun. So, there's some people you just can't, you got to leave alone. You can't deal with them. But I think it starts with understanding that these are people having real experiences, and you have to treat them accordingly, as like you would if you were a psychologist, for example. Somebody come in, they have an issue. They're not a number, and I know that's hard to do, but I think that's the first step.
With your research over the years, one of the things that was always in the way between this community and the government was they had information, they were withholding it, they were lying to us, and they were also calling us crazy and so forth. We were conspiracy theorists. And so it was us versus them, and it was a battle that was always fought. Today, over the last couple of years, now there are those in this UFO community, both not only with To the Stars, but now people around To the Stars and members of this community that are suddenly putting all of their trust in the Department of Defense and the Pentagon and the CIA for the information that is coming forward. That's a pretty dangerous zone to get into, and I'm talking about trusting the man. As this has been developing, what's your take?
I think it's an extremely dangerous position, because, look, when that whole thing first started, I defended some of the people that had negative comments towards, To the Stars Academy, what they were trying to do. I thought, hey, let's give it a try, see where it goes. It could be a good thing, right? But yeah, no, you're right. They're getting their info from the very people that, first of all, their entire job description is to lie and spread disinformation. That's what they do for a living. And they're better at it than any of us and smarter than most of us. And now, by so many people joining them or giving them their trust or, groups like MUFON joining them and all that, you're giving them so much power and so much control over what information comes out that you're giving the very people that have been lying to you for all these years, that have been not telling you the truth, holding back info. Now you're trusting them to give you the truth, or for everything to be funneled through their eyes. How does that work? That's very dangerous. Now that's like less people control more information in the UFO community, and that's really not the way to go.
Do you think it's done by design?
100%, absolutely. I think it's been a plan. I talked about this. I was giving Grant Cameron a ride in the car one time. We had a long conversation about that, and I agree with a lot of things he says. And I was kind of telling him the same thing. And I think this has been planned for a while now, and this is kind of just coming to fruition, today. And it's going to be like every other piece of this information. There's going to be some good evidence, and there's going to be some real info that's going to come out. But around that, they're going to build denial system, I don't think they'll go as far as back in the Burich, the alien eats strawberry ice cream type of deal. I think we've evolved. The disinformation campaign has evolved beyond that. And now it's a very, they're using media smartly, right? They're getting a show of a History Channel. So, honestly, if you have all this, so-called secret UFO, info to release, and you're the first person in history is going to release it, you're going to go straight to History Channel and have a little show on it. It's just another way, I think, to just kind of control the field, and heck yeah, it's dangerous.
The report you just mentioned, Grant Cameron, who I think is very honest. I really do, and very committed to trying to get this question answered. And I would give Grant an A on his report card. What other researchers out there deserve an A?
Dolan, I'm sorry. Richard Dolan. And the one guy that doesn't get mentioned enough, Christopher O'Brien.
Absolutely. He gets an A.
A+ for what that guy's been done throughout the years, That's how I kind of come. Those three are the main ones that come to mind right now.
And when we look at, I don't want to, mention names with failing grades, but we're talking about dozens and dozens of A-list researchers out there that are missing from the A column on the report card. Why? What's going wrong today with UFO research that you can't give more passing grades?
I think and I've talked about this with Steve Murillo a couple times. It seems that, and this has been going on ever since we've got UFO researcher. A lot of researchers, start off 100% honest, and they do great work, the whole deal. But as time goes on, for whatever reason, your ability to discern what's real and what's not suffers. And it seems to me there's only a few individuals in this field that kind of manage to keep the compass where it should be. And I don't know where that stems from, honestly. Even we were talking about, Linda earlier, and her cattle mutilation and some early work is fantastic. But personally, I disagree. And I think she's honest, right? But personally, I disagree with, for example, her work on the drones. And I think she lost a little bit that ability to discern what's real and what's not. Much less so than a lot of other people, But, and it's hard because, I think as the years go on, we get all really frustrated in terms of not getting answers and seeing other people, and there's a pride thing, right? We see other people get television shows and get money and funding, whatever, because they claim to be either whistleblowers or they come up with these big stories that more often than not are not true. So I think that psychologically you kind of convince yourself a lot of these other stories are true, and that and you kind of go down that road. And I think that's a problem.
Yeah, that's where you and I think we've discussed this before privately, but I still have to this day a Dragonfly drones folder that I have passed.
But I think, that's the mistake I think a lot of investigators make, because we so want it to be real. We kind of lower our expectations and lower our defenses in terms of we let more in than we should. I think we should have the opposite effect, where because we want it to be real so badly, we should kind of raise where the evidence needs to be even above, I don't even know how to explain it really. But,
yeah. And what about the efforts of John Greenwald in the Black Vault? Certainly he deserves an A.
Oh, A++. John, we've had our disagreements in us for years, but he's the best of the best. I think he's done more for this field than almost anybody, because I think the Black Vault, again, it's one of those groups, and the Black Vault and John, that kind of transcends the community, right? People outside of the community can go to the Black Vault and they'll find something they're interested in, not necessarily UFO related, but then I'll bring him to, some of the UFO stories. So I think he's, absolutely, John Greenwald, A+.
And then if we go back a little bit, I do want to discuss the UK before we get out of here. And when we come back, we've got to jump around to Bigfoot when we come back after the break. But then we have, guys like, Jacques Vallée, that has just chosen to back up and off of this field when he was one of the most respected intellectuals, professional intellectuals in our community, that has chosen to take a step back. He's a money guy now up in Silicon Valley, and that's his thing, and which is great, fantastic. He's an investor, but this field needs more Jacques Vallées.
Yeah, I met the gentleman one time, but I always say that you should never be a UFO investigator until you've read all of Jacques Vallée's work. But here's the thing. This goes back to your prior point, in fact. I think Jacques Vallée stopped when he said all he had to say about his particular research, his subject. Anything more, he might have had to add on that, maybe stuff that's not true, or make stuff up, or, to keep it. A lot of people want to keep it going, and there's only so much material you have in your research, right? And I think maybe in his mind he stopped before he reached a point where he was becoming dishonest, or he had to maybe, stretch the truth a little bit, or go into a territory he's not comfortable with.
Yeah.
So a lot of respect to him for that,
Yeah, he pretty much said that to me. We had a conversation about, a few times about him coming on Fade to Black. And not to get into those details because there were many of those, but one day, he looked right at me and he said, with that voice, right, that accent, he's a big, tall guy too, right? He's looking down at me. And he goes, Jimmy, I just don't have anything new to say. I don't have anything new. I don't want to revisit the past. When I have something, right, let's do this. But right now I have nothing new. And that's right. What can I say to that? Of course, I would love to have him on the show. He's like the one guy that I haven't interviewed that I would love to have my chance at asking him a few questions. But that's his position, and I couldn't get him to bend.
Yeah. No, that's it. I think that goes to your prior point exactly, right? That's what we all should do, really, if we have nothing else to say.
Now, what do we do? What do we do? We're going to be heading towards a break here. What do we do today to change UFO research and push this thing closer to disclosure? It seems like we got all the videos, all the films, all the eyewitness testimony, all of the abduction. We have all of that we need. What do we do, you as an investigator, to push this thing forward?
Money. We need more money. We need a professional service where investigators get paid and are able to go out and get evidence, and that's really lacking. Everything that we do is just like one of my best cases was a Pine Mountain case where we had a landing case in the mountains, and the earliest I was able to go there was 2 months after the fact. So we need to create a system where investigators are on a drop of the hat, have all the funding they need to go where they need to go. And I think we also need to establish a multidisciplinary approach where we're looking at this from all kinds of different angles. Because, again, the idea for me is to bring this to the world, right? This phenomenon doesn't belong to us. It belongs to everybody, to the world. It's the most important subject on the planet today, period. So in order to do that, though, we got to find something for people to grab onto. Now, for example, you bring up abduction, that's too much for, 80% of the population. But you take a multidisciplinary approach where you'll have a cattle mutilation, you'll have your abductions, you'll have DNA research, I think is the next step, and also an exploration aspect of it, where for example, we'd go out in Siberia and investigate and try to get some hard evidence, about stories of ancient structures and all that. But that needs to have a central hub, and investigators need to get paid, and they need to be legit. You need scientists, you need explorers, that's the next step. It's a big step. But I think if we don't move in that direction, we're just going to be, amateurs running around, taking eyewitness accounts and looking up at the sky with a cheap infrared.
Hey, don't bag on my night vision goggles, man. That's my favorite.
Dude, I love that. Dude, I love that stuff. I
favorite
can't afford one, so I use it whenever I can get a hold of it. But it's, No, they're great. I've seen some pretty spectacular stuff with it.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you. That to me, and we're going to take a break here in 20 seconds. Night vision goggles and seeing what's going on up in the skies, that's a game changer for anybody. Where you sit and you're looking, and then you look with the night vision, you pull them down, and you go back, and you're watching stuff zigzag and do these crazy stuff in the sky, and you know that you can't see it with the naked eye. And it's going on above you every single night. But nobody knows. But now we have the ability to go and watch all of it. I think it's one of the most fascinating parts of ufology today. This is Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Alex Mistretta. When we come back, he's one of the leading Bigfoot researchers out there. And we're going to discuss Bigfoot when we come back. This is Fade to Black in the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. And last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Teppy. Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Introducing the new Surfer Music app. Listen, Fadernauts, you know I love my music. This is my go-to for all things notes. The Surfer app is a brand new concept in music listening. Surfer is free, providing unlimited access to thousands of live streaming radio stations. Surfer is an exciting, interactive listening experience. Discovery and surprise are built right in. Surfer is your destination to discover and rediscover great live streaming music. It features high-quality audio streams,
free access to music from thousands of live streaming radio stations, unlimited listening, unlimited skipping. You get a music visualizer, and you can also select your favorite channels. Get it at the Apple App Store or Google Play. Just search Surfer Music or click on the Surfer banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go Beckley Teppy.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Alex Mistretta, giving us his report card on our paranormal, supernatural UFO community, and none better to do this. And Alex, we've got to change gears here and get over to what's going on, today with Bigfoot. You've been out there investigating Bigfoot for how many years?
Wow, it's been out in the field. My first time out in the field was only about 3 years ago, but it's something I've been following closely since college. Really, one of my bachelors in anthropology, and it was specifically because of Bigfoot.
And okay, let's start here. Let's start on solid ground. No pun intended. In your estimation, with what you have investigated, are we looking for something that is real?
100%. Yes.
And what evidence, and not only the evidence that you have collected, but the evidence that you have seen over the years, allows you to say that?
I think it's a combination of the historical accounts, going back from hundreds, if not 1,000 years in some locations, not just in the U.S., to outside of the United States. Obviously, you've got the footprints, and you've got a great number of sightings, but you also have some hair samples that have come out and have been analyzed and were as primate, but unknown primates. So to me, I think it's a combination of all the evidence put together. But I think, because every culture, every Native American tribe in North America almost has a long oral history of this species, and then you go across into Russia and Siberia and the Yeti and the Pond Tibet. They all have the same stories, and they all have the same physical attributes and similar behavior and all that. So I think it's a big, everything put together to me makes a pretty solid case that we have an unknown bipedal hominid walking around, or hominid.
What is it that Bigfoot researchers are doing wrong today?
They're going where the sightings are. I think that's a mistake. Because I think to start looking at it a little bit more from a biological standpoint, pick an area we haven't had any sightings, because to me personally, I think where we're having sightings is where we go, right? So if we've been there once, we've been there prior to that. And if we've been there that many times, this is not where Bigfoot's, where the species lives. That's not where they reproduce. That's not where they get the water and their food, because there's man. I think it's just, those are just, the sightings are just happen to be, it's luck. We just happen to be at the same place they're at that particular time. I think we need to go much deeper in the forest, and not just in the U.S. though, but in Siberia and in Russia as well, and think of it a little more biologically in terms of what makes sense. Where would such a species be able to live in a large group and be able to reproduce so they can carry on, their genetic stock?
Now, 3 years ago, you went on a Bigfoot expedition. You did it with Rick Sinnott. You did it with Steve Murillo, and a camera person. I don't recall the name. But so you went up, and oddly enough, you guys not only collected some pretty amazing evidence up there, but we used it on our TV show for the History Channel, The Unexplained. And that happened right when we were in the middle of taping the show, and the evidence came rolling in. But that was also very close to ESETI, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's just a few miles from there, really.
And what drew you guys to that area?
Well, I've been kind of picking out areas that was accessible within 4 days, right? Because we only had we could afford 4 days, essentially, out in the field. And I knew that time of year, there was an increase in sightings in that area. So I didn't think like the species actually lived in the area. I just think that they wonder that it's part of their range for whatever reason. And for whatever reason, in that time of year, in that specific area, is where people tend to see them. And combined with the fact that not a lot of people go there, I thought it was a pretty, it was beyond chance in terms of the amount of sightings that they had. So if we were going to go somewhere for 4 days, again, we had to go somewhere where they had sightings. I know I'm contradicting myself, I was saying earlier.
Yes.
And, but we didn't have a choice, so that was why I picked that particular place.
Now, you had already had a genuine interest in Bigfoot before this pretty amazing expedition that you guys went on. What was your take on Bigfoot before that expedition and then after? How did you change?
It didn't. It didn't change my view of it at all.
So it just solidified?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, once you find prints yourself, it's a whole different deal. Once you see it, no matter how much you thought it was true beforehand, it definitely reinforces your belief system, and it's something you can tangibly see. And it changes your perspective in terms of just from an emotion standpoint, but in terms of just from evidence standpoint, it didn't change anything for me.
And let's talk about the popularity of Bigfoot on television. Is that helping push this Bigfoot phenomenon forward?
It is. I think to a certain extent, I think it is, because it gives you more opportunities to, talk about it and maybe create opportunities to go out there and get some funding. But on the other hand, it hurts it because, so much of that is crap, to be honest. It's not real research. They go to areas where obviously Bigfoot sightings didn't happen in some of these shows. So it hurts the credibility on one hand, but it's that line that we all have to kind of to walk through in this field, between credibility and getting enough attention so we're able to actually go out and do work. So it's it's a mixed bag.
So okay, and then we have a problem here, and it's the same thing with UFOs or Oak Island. But when you have a Bigfoot show, I already know the ending, right? Well, I can tell you what's not going to happen on the Bigfoot show. There's not going to be a big reveal, right? And are we putting too much? I'm talking about the community out there, putting too much into the hopes that the Bigfoot phenomenon, that reality, is going to be revealed on network television, right? It wouldn't, would it? It would be done in a scientific context and in a white paper through a pretty significant press conference. It's not going to be held back for an edited episodic television series.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not. That's not the way it works. And these days, it's too hard to keep that secret. If you have a TV crew and you filmed Bigfoot 5 feet from you, you're probably going to have a press conference at some point. So, yeah, agreed.
But
that's not the point of those shows, right?
Right.
It's in fact, the point of it is not to find stuff, because if you find something, you don't have your next season. So you got to keep people wanting. It's like Vegas, if you win, it's not good. You want to lose. The house wants you to lose. So
how do we change it?
In terms of TV shows, you mean, or in the field in general?
Well, I mean, how do we change that? We have the public's view on this. They're developing opinions by how it's being presented on network television. Network television has got their way of doing things, which drives these Bigfoot teams and how they want to, get on TV. They're not necessarily doing research. They're doing a television show. How do we change all of that?
We go to the next step. I think the television shows are fine. I make fun of them all the time, but they're fine. But we have to, first of all, research. And it's the same thing I was saying, both phenomena. The next step is, again, our professional research to be able to go out there and do a real.
Okay, we're losing you again, Alex. We're losing you again. Yeah, you're saying very important things, and we're losing you.
I'm moving around.
Oh, man. I apologize, everybody. Alex? Okay, we've lost you.
Okay, what about right now?
Okay, all right. Alex, wherever you... Please, for the love of God, don't move.
I'm not...
Oh, man. Okay. I apologize, everybody. I'm going to take a break right here and reset these phone lines. There's nothing I can do about it. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We'll be right back after this short break.
JimmyChurchRadio.com. This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up, standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRAradio.com.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com. Dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from River Moon. Just click on the River Moon Coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
So, are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system, and get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com, and like me, you'll be glad you did.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Gremlins in the studio tonight. It's not that big of a deal. We'll always work through it. The show must go on. We're talking with Alex Mistretta. Alex, how's the reception? Are you there?
Yeah, it's perfect from my end, so I couldn't tell.
Okay, all right. Well, it sounds much better now. Okay, so back to the Bigfoot question. When what we have today is a lot of footprints, you've seen those, I've seen those, and for me, it changed. I was always a big Bigfoot skeptic, and you know that, and and when you see your first set of footprints, it's a pretty good feeling. It freaked me out, but it seems like that's all we have got. We haven't had any bones or any bodies or of certainly that would end the Bigfoot question. But would this suggest something more paranormal or supernatural about Bigfoot, that it just may not even be a physical being?
I don't really buy that at all. First of all, I think we do have the bones in the bodies, but we just don't know that we have the bones in the bodies. just think about it, right? There's no such thing as Bigfoot officially. So if you find any anomalous bones, dating from now till, let's say, 4 million years ago, right? You found anomalous bones here, in Africa, anywhere. You're going to group them with something that you already know exists. None of them are going to come back as ancestor to Bigfoot or current Bigfoot. So honestly, I think the bones and the body's there. I really do. I just think we've just been naming them something else.
Well,
so I don't. And here's the thing with the paranormal thing. I don't think there's a need to bring that into it. And I get it. And there's some of those sightings here in the U.S. That report paranormal phenomena or UFO phenomena with Bigfoot. And I'm open to look into them. I really am. But it's only here in the United States. We don't get those type of paranormal modalities when it comes to Bigfoot in the rest of the world, in Asia or Russia, for example.
But this is okay, but they just seem to disappear. In that, how can a large, 7 foot, 6 foot, 7 foot, 400-pound being just disappear? That's what the fascinating part for me is. It seems that we can track any large creature and find them, even in the depths of the oceans. But with Bigfoot, it seems to appear and disappear, and that I don't have an answer for.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the disappearing data where people say it disappears before their eyes is pretty small compared to just the number of sightings worldwide of what looks like a bipedal hominid. Here's the thing, though. We've never we've hunted a plethora of different types of animals, right, in our history, but we've never actually gone out and tried to find the hunted something that's bipedal. That's something we're not in the elements in the forest. They are. They know how to move through it. They know how to escape. To be honest, part of the reason they never find Bigfoot is because they make so much noise. We smell like soap. This thing can pick us out from a mile away, so it's really hard to approach. And like I said, I'm willing to look into them, but I think, to be honest, it's such a small percentage of the data that we've accumulated that it's not worth going there first. I think it's more viable. If you look at it from an evolutionary standpoint and from a biology standpoint, first, it makes a lot more sense because we know an animal or species like Bigfoot is possible because it already exists in a fossil record. We already have species that have primitive characteristics and modern characteristics. We know that there was a giant ape in Gigantopithecus. We know that there was a hairy bipedal primitive hominid related to man in the past, from Homo erectus to Homo naledi, that coexisted with modern man. So we know there's already something there for us to start with. So my belief is you start at the beginning, you start with what you know and what you can prove. And if, paranormal modalities find their way into your story as it goes on, then fine, then you deal with it. But I don't think that's where we should start from. We're not there yet.
So you're suggesting, as I listened to you, I was visualizing this, that because of where they live and who we are, they can absolutely stay miles away from us. If they want to stay undiscovered, they can and they will.
I think to a certain extent, but I don't think we haven't surprised them either, though. I think we haven't had a whole lot of full-fledged expeditions that have gone really, really deep in the forest where we think they may live and spend enough time there and spend enough money there to be able to stay there. So, I don't think, honestly, we haven't had most of these expeditions are weekend deal, right? We go off the weekend for 2, 3, 4 days. But, we got crazy lucky with getting tracked where we went. But in reality, we haven't been doing it right.
What about the Patterson film? It's been my belief that if the UFO community had a piece of footage like the Patterson film, it would be UFO case closed too as well. What do you think of the Patterson film?
I think and I've met Bob Gimlin, and I've talked to him a couple of times. I'm 99% sure it's real. First of all, despite what a lot of people have heard in the media, no one has actually come forward and proved that they were the person in the suit. There's been 7 claims of that. Second, so I got to take a look at the 2nd generation copy, right? And as a guy that was trained in anthropology, I know what to look for in terms of movement and how he turns his head and all that. Everyone's heard, I've heard all that before. So I couldn't find anything wrong with it whatsoever, strictly from a biological standpoint. The only thing that bugs me just a little bit is that Roger Patterson beforehand had a drawing in his book that looked a whole lot like the Patterson film animal, or his hominid, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And that's the only thing to me that kind of bugs me just a little bit. And if they hoaxed it, and I don't think they did, because I don't see how that could have been done within that time period. Bob certainly was unaware of it.
Yeah, every time I look at the Patterson film and I think about 1969, 68, 67, 1970, 71, that time, I think of Planet of the Apes. And I know that Hollywood did the best that they could, right? And the Patterson film is not Planet of the Apes. So how could he have pulled that off when Hollywood couldn't?
Yeah, it's hard. I don't see I just don't see how that can be done. And first of all, back then you have to think of that area in 1967 was way deep in the woods. If you're going to have a guy in a suit somewhere, you're going to find an easier place to do it,
Right.
First of all, and it's the same thing. It's my same argument with like tracks and stuff. It's exciting and stuff. But again, for me, it's not hard evidence because it's just a show of something that may or may not have been there. But when you start finding traces of tracks in jungles in the world where nobody's ever gone before, or deep in the forest in Nepal and the Himalayas, or even deep in Alaska, you'd have to assume that someone had hiked out for a week to place them there as a hoax. It starts to fall apart a little bit. Not to mention, though, and that kind of goes back to your prior question about why evidence I think is great, is that it would almost take a worldwide, well-funded group to pull off the entire Bigfoot hoax every year, if you include the number of sightings and footprints and people, and encounters that people have worldwide. It's almost like it'll be like faking, the moon hoax landing,
Yeah, I agree with you. All right,
it's something that's been going on, and it's a group that's been doing this for generations and generations.
Our guest tonight is Alex Mistretta, giving us his report card on our paranormal, supernatural, UFO, cryptozoological community. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up, standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com. dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from River Moon. Just click on the River Moon Coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
So, are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Alex Mistretta, one of the few full-time professional investigators in our community. Does a little bit of everything: the paranormal, UFOs, Bigfoot, and Alex, let's swing this thing around to ghosts.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. What was you mentioned when you were 12 years old in the UK? That's one thing. But on the professional side, what was your first entity ghost hunting trip?
It was after college, so it had to be, I graduated in 97, so something like 1998, 1999. So I came back to Los Angeles, and I kind of joined this, this amateur ghost group. I forgot how I met one of the guys. And we went out on a few cases. Nothing happened. It's not like on television. Most of the time, you just end up sitting in the dark, And at one point, though, the EMF meters kind of started, moving a little bit. And so I went forward and into this kind of like this laundry room under one building, and something hit me on the ear. And I didn't think anything of it. But when somebody took a picture at the time, when the picture developed, it showed there was like this ball, not an orb, because most orbs are water moisture or with dust particles, but it's just like a solid green light that just kind of happened to hit me on the ear. So that was kind of like the first one that I went on, after school.
Now, here we go. We're in the same mode as we are with Bigfoot and UFOs and network television. There are probably more ghost hunter shows on television than March Madness basketball games. It's pretty crazy where we are at today with us. Is that a good thing?
No. In the beginning, I thought it was, but they've gotten so out of control. Most of these guys are investigators that you get cast for a lot of these shows. It's all set up. I know because I've been at a few meetings for a handful of shows, and this everything up just scene by scene to give you. It's got to be completely cool. Now, at this point, if you don't scream demon and wear a tight shirt and scream at air and trip, you run around, you don't really get to have a ghost show. So it's gone far beyond what it originally intended to be, I think.
Why is it, and I need you to move around and get your bars back as I ask this question, why haven't we captured and figured out this phenomenon? It's out there with so much guesswork as to what is going on, right? Are these
right.
Are they ghosts? Are they entities? Are they demons? Are they spirits? Are they dead? Are they trapped in between one reality and another? Is it interdimensional? We don't know, do we?
No, I think there's a lot of different modalities in play, so I don't think the source is the same for all the events that you investigate. The problem is you have to sit around when nothing happens for 24 hours for one EVP recording or one maybe shadow. It doesn't lend itself very well to television or research because it's such a rare phenomena. Now, I think you can increase your odds by going to very specific places where the phenomenon seems to be fairly consistent. But the problem is, why would you do that when you can just kind of fake it and exaggerate events for television? So that's kind of where the problem lies.
Is there, okay, let's talk about the investigators that are out there. Who, out of the investigation teams out there, who gets an A on the report card?
The best in the field is, and I know I'm cheating a little bit because he's a friend of mine, would be Dr. Barry Taff. He's the only one of a PhD that I'm aware of, and he's been doing work for 40 years. So that would be the guy. It's the guy also I've worked with for a number of years, so I know that's a little bit of cheating. But that would be for me the go-to guy. There's a group out of Oregon. I'm drawing a complete blank on their names. Yeah, they're.
Oh man,
terrible. I'm forgetting their names, but they're good.
Okay, we just completely dropped out there.
All right, let me move back to my original spot. Can you hear me now?
Okay, yeah, I've got you. The group in Oregon, what was their name?
The League of Extrasensory Gentlemen, I believe.
Oh yes, yeah, they're great.
Yeah, some of I've talked to some of them here and there on Facebook and all that, and I've invited one of them on my Bigfoot trip a few years ago and couldn't make it. They really do excellent work. They're probably the one group I would recommend from the ghost side. Barry's more from the poltergeist side, and there's a difference. And those would be my two. If I were to make a documentary, those would be my two go-to teams.
Yeah, most people don't realize that Barry Taff was the entity.
Correct. In fact, one of the characters in the film is based on Barry. That was his case.
Now, you just said something. I don't want this to get away from us. Did I hear you say that you've been at production meetings for some of these ghost hunting shows, and some of it was staged?
100%, absolutely.
And you're the one guy that speaks the loudest about all of this. Did you stand up in the meeting and say something?
No, I just refused. I said, this is not for me. I refuse to take part in the shows.
Oh.
Which really sucks. There's other ones that are paid. Those are paid gigs that, I've turned down, but that's kind of part of the deal. Like what they do is like for me, obviously, I'm a real investigator, so they knew who I was. So they would have me and they would cast around me. So everybody else would be an actor pretending to be on my team. I've had that, offered to me a couple times.
And
I just refused to do it. So
Right. Your set of photographs of the forest with the girl in them. I'm gonna post them up here in a second.
Right.
Take everybody through those photographs and what happened that day.
It was around 2001. I was in Bretagne, Brittany, in France. I was out doing some research on the Holy Grail, which was a chapter initially I was going to have in my book, and it got way too complicated, and I kind of went away from that. But so I was going to an area where it had a lot of lore, Arthurian lore, and Holy Grail lore behind it, even though it was in France, right? And there's this one area where it was called the Lake of the Fairies, and the lore behind it was that there was, fairies, back in the day, and people would disappear in the area and all that. So I thought it'd be a good spot just to go for a hike and take a lot of, cover pictures that I could have in my book or whatever. I never really, thought I would really see anything. So for those that don't know, I was born in France. I grew up here in Los Angeles, but my mom is French, and she lives in France, and she's remarried with a fantastic individual named Jerome, and they were along with us. And so we went for a walk, 20 minutes in, and this was it's fairly remote. It comes for Brittany-wise, right? It's not. There's one path in and out. It's kind of like a fort structure on the left-hand side, which just old wood. That probably was dating hundreds of years. And we decided to stop at the area for a break. We stayed there for about 20 minutes and started taking pictures of everything, which was the habit that I had. My theory is that take as many pictures as possible and hope something, shows up in one of them, which has worked out pretty well for me, to be honest. So we went through an entire roll of film, which was 35 pictures in this one area. We saw absolutely nothing. I know there's nobody there because there's one way in and one way out. And we were there. And I didn't think much of it. We went on. I didn't see anything. No one saw anything. And a month later, we developed the pictures. And in one frame only, even though we had multiple pictures of the same area, this one girl or ghost or whatever you want to call it appeared in the picture. And it was just as clear as a regular person.
Yeah, I'm looking at the image here. I've posted it up on Twitter, your original tweet. Now, because I know the background of this image, and you just described that day, it turns out to be a pretty creepy, photograph, and especially her pose. And she's definitely photobombing, right? She's clear as day, and she's showing her face. How far away would she have been from you? And see, this is the thing. You took the picture in that direction, so you would have seen her in the frame when you took the picture.
Well, not only that, there's nowhere for her to go. There's a cliff behind her, and it's just a little stream on one of the sides, and then the rest is just forest. There'd have been nowhere for her to go, especially for us being sitting there for 20 minutes already. Like I said, there's only one path. So, yeah, I can't think of any possible way where we would not have seen her.
So, who is she? What is she?
Honestly, I have no idea whatsoever. All I can say is that I took a picture, and there's a girl in it that doesn't exist or not supposed to be there. I have absolutely no theory, no idea. And the problem is, maybe if I developed that pictures on the spot and, or I would use digital and gotten the picture right away, I could have done a little more background research into the area, in terms of people disappearing or what some of the stories are, but I had no idea. I was back in Paris by the time I got the picture, and then back on to Los Angeles. So, the honest answer is I have no idea whatsoever.
Now, why haven't we gotten lots of cool footage out there? I'm not going to dismiss that.
Right.
Lots of poltergeists and moving objects, and we've captured. But why haven't we gotten the definitive piece of ghost footage?
I don't think our cameras are capable of capturing whatever part of the spectrum they appear in. I think there is a way around that, though. And so I was discussing this with this past weekend with a couple of fellow researchers, Jim Perry. Some of you guys may have heard of him from Hellier. They've mentioned him a couple of times. And Ryan Singer. And I was saying that, so we have a lot of EVPs, right? For those who are not familiar, it's where you get a voice recording on anything from video cassette to a digital recorder of a voice that wasn't there. So because the voice you can't. It's an auditory phenomenon. You can't hear it. It somehow, for lack of a better word, magically appears right on your equipment. So it doesn't come from your immediate environment because you can't hear it. It comes from somewhere else. So that somewhere else, it's something tangible, right? Because something is producing that noise. If you can record a voice and a sound from whether the afterlife or another dimension or wherever, right, where they're coming from, you can get a picture from that afterlife or dimension. If you can get an auditory sound, you can get a visual from it. And I think that's the next step in this field that we got to start looking at it. How to get a pictures of not a ghost here in our world, but how to get pictures in their world.
Right. In that dimension. In that
right. I think it can be done.
Well, if that happens, then we can photograph anything in another dimension. Animals.
Absolutely.
Bigfoot. UFOs. Right? Wouldn't all those dominoes start to fall?
Well, it would certainly open up, different modalities in terms of how to get evidence and how to get visual proof. And ultimately, the most exciting, I think, is like your body's nice, right? But, to get people interested, first of all, I think you need visual proof. Nothing beats a visual.
Are you okay with EVPs?
Yeah, I am. I think, look, I think most of them, especially the ones you'll hear on some TV shows, aren't really VPs, I think, because your brain, there's just a lot of it is just noise, and your brain kind of makes up the rest in between, right? Your brain doesn't like entropy. It wants to have order in everything that you see, that you hear. So it'll end up missing pieces, and that's what I think a lot of EVPs are. It's just your brain tells you, look, this says get out of here. The next person is going to hear get out of here. That's how the human, brain works. But I think there's for them better.
I apologize again, everybody. Alex, you're bouncing in and out. I haven't had this kind of phone issue in months and months and months. I don't know what the problem is, but
I don't know what to tell you. I'm sitting in the same spot, so
yeah, it's okay. Let's just get through this. There's another part to this when we're talking about EVPs, which is guys like Steve Huff, who has developed a way to communicate with these other dimensions that seems, from what I have heard, and some of it is pretty convincing, that there is a way to communicate with whatever these entities or souls or whatever they may be. They do communicate, but I don't think that they understand where they are. Right? If you know what I mean, these beings, they seem confused.
I think that's one theory. Yeah, correct. I think, and I don't know if because there's so much in translation that gets lost between us and wherever they're at, But like I said, I think there's definitely different modalities involved, and so not everything goes into the ghost category. I think there are other things out there or other ways this phenomenon manifests itself. And some of it, I think, it's even self-induced. But
now
I think we create the phenomena ourselves.
Now, you mentioned something earlier as we... do you want to hang on and take some phone calls?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I want to do that, and I'm going to open up the phone lines with everybody. And one of the things that I do want to do, it's April Fool's Day. And so I went through a bunch of news headlines at the beginning of the show, and if there was something that caught your eye today that you took the bait on, I want to see if I can take the bait. So I do want to hear those from everybody too as well. 747-228-2051, and I'll get everything set up. Is staying on this. And then when we come back after the break, we'll get to the phone calls. Staying on this, when it comes to Ghost, Alex, I want to say this in a very polite way. For you, what frustrates you the most? Because you are very vocal about the way that research is done. What frustrates you the most when it comes to paranormal research today?
The sense like the sensationalism of it. Everything has to be
kicked off, and then there was Ghost Hunters and Ghost Hunters International and all of these spin-off shows. But when that kicked off, it was like the pet rock. The paranormal research groups are all over this country now. I mean, it is an amazing phenomenon. Part of me wants to say, yay, team, let's go. The other part of it is there are people out there that are into this subject, and that's a good thing too, but there's no standards, right? Everybody's just going out there and going into a dark house and seeing if something will happen, right? It's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, I mean, there's no set of protocols in place for what you should be doing an investigation. And that goes for pretty much almost any of the topics we discussed tonight, I think, and that's kind of a problem. Everyone's just kind of freewheeling it, so there's not a whole lot of communications between groups either, so.
Well, so for you, if you were going to go and investigate a haunted situation, well, how do you go about it? Do you do the exact same things that everybody else is doing? Do you go in and lock the doors and hope for quiet and run cameras all night? How do you go about it?
No, I wouldn't. First of all, I wouldn't go to indoor location. I would focus on a more open outdoor location. I would go to a place like Chernobyl or the Ohio Baciu Force in Romania, because first of all, I would pick a spot like those where you have a lot of different types of phenomena that happens, right? And phenomena is pretty consistent over time, so you get a better chance of capturing something. And I would measure every possible thing you could possibly measure, from electromagnetism to radiation or whatever. I would measure everything. But yeah, at some point, I take a wildlife approach. Like when these guys go out and they want to film a tiger, right? They go out in this environment and they let the environment get used to them. They sit still. So I would go and hang out. No running after the phenomena. No, just set up your equipment, measure the environment. But for you personally to experience the phenomena, I would just hang out. Let it come to you. Let the environment get used to you being there.
Well, you did just that up at Skinwalker. How many days were you at Skinwalker?
We were there for 3 days.
3 days.
4 days total, but 3 days of investigation, yeah.
And one of those nights was here on Fade to Black, which was pretty cool. You were up at Skinwalker for 3 days, and what did you find up there?
That everything you've heard is real and more. We, not a single person, pretty much, I don't think actually a single person we talked to haven't experienced something in that area. And it's not just Skinwalker. It goes on for miles around. And again, it's one of those places that it's just a whole plethora of experiences people have, from UFOs to ghosts to the, giant coyotes or wolves. It's everything all rolled up into one. And, but it has a real kind of trickster mentality to it, I think. It reminded me a lot of like when John Keel went to Point Pleasant, where you'd get he was getting these phone calls, right, and you hear his metallic noises. Well, we got some of that ourselves. So in a very Keelian fashion, it was messing with us. And I think that's a very different, it's a different phenomenon than just your standard, UFO alien model, or your ghost, poltergeist, whatever paranormal model, or even, your Bigfoot for some of the creatures that people report on the ranch. We're doing something entirely different.
And what did you? Can you share quickly before the break? What was the one thing that did you see something specifically up at Skinwalker?
I only saw one thing. It was we found the overlook spot that overlooks the ranch, and at some point there's guards there. They're there all night, but they keep all the lights out. They don't turn any of the lights on. You can see the flashlight once in a while, but that's it. And at one point all we saw was this light that came out from the ground. It was pretty big, and it shot up. It was about the size of a tree trunk. It shot up in front of the tree and took off and kind of disappeared when you got kind of above the top branches. So from a visual standpoint, that's all that we really saw.
And what color was it?
It was just kind of color of light, just kind of dark yellow type of thing. I don't think Steve saw it.
What do you think it was? You didn't tell me this. Why am I getting this news? Why am I getting this news live on the air?
Yeah, I'm a best friend. Well, that was after we called. It was after we were on the phone with you. So, but yeah. So I couldn't have told you then. Yeah, because I didn't think it was that big a deal. It's just one light that we saw. Sure, is it weird? 100%. I know it's not a flashlight because it's too big and it was solid and went up. It was odd, but to me, again, it goes back to the evidence. It's not sufficient evidence for me of something anomalous. It's just, because it's just one thing that we saw one time.
I need
more, man.
Our guest tonight is Alex Mistretta. It is now April Fool's Day. We're going to take a break right here. And when we come back after the break, we're going to open up the phone lines. 747-228-2051. It's April Fool's Day. Did you get taken by a story today like I did about the Aurora aircraft being revealed today by the DOD? I took that one hook, line, and sinker. What did you get taken by today, April Fools? We'll take your phone calls next. 747-228-2051. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Tappy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roasted to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi folks, CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. There's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and my family is safe because of Numana Emergency Food Storage. Just go to the Numana banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Promo code Jimmy10.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now. The Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JamieChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
All right, welcome back, Fade to Black. I was goofing around. Sorry about that. All right, I'm opening up the phone line, 747-228-2051. It's April Fool's Day. Did you get taken by a story today like I did with the Aurora? Hey, Alex, did you get taken by that? Did you see the press release on the, I think it's the RS-85 aircraft?
Oh, no, I didn't, but that probably could have gotten me for a second, yeah.
Yeah, it got me. It was well written.
Yeah,
it was well written. I went and I started doing research. Right, it was released by the DoD. They're going to put the plane on display at Wright-Patterson in the Air Force Museum, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool.
We're waiting for that one, right? For that actual story. So
yeah, Mach 6. Right? And it had been flying, I think, 1993 to 2018. They had 5 airframes that were built and using it for reconnaissance, that they were manned, and everything was there. Names and quotes. And it was so funny for me as I started, well, wait a minute. It's April Fool's Day. Oh, wait. You know, the funny part about all of that for me was I still held on. Right? I knew. It was like it was April Fool, and I just like, no, maybe this is real. And so I chose, obviously, not to report the story. And then I was leaning on, it was so well written that maybe somebody would buy into it, you know, and I didn't want that either, you know. So there you go. All right, I'm opening up the phone line, 747-228-2051. Did you get taken by an April Fool's story today? I've got a couple cases of Fade to Black coffee mugs. If you got taken by an April Fool's story today, let's see what you got, and maybe you'll get a Fade to Black coffee mug. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Jimmy, is that you?
No, it's not.
Jimmy, I got taken big time today.
On what?
Tom Brady retiring.
Oh, wait a minute.
Big time.
I thought he was retiring. You mean he's not?
No, man, he's not. I got a hook, line, and sinker all the way down.
Really? Who made the announcement?
I saw it on Fox News, and I was like, oh, Tom Brady's retiring. Hell yes. And then I looked at it, and it was April Fool's. I'm like, son of a gun.
Oh, man. And I guess the Chicago Bears released new jerseys that the new design for their team jerseys and their uniforms, and that wasn't too well received either. Don't most people expect on April Fool's Day that if a story, you know what I mean? But some will just buy into it. I did.
Yeah, you're correct.
So what's on your mind?
Well, you know, I've gone over this story with Alex several times, and we've actually went on a radio station, my father and my brother, to go over what we had seen in northern Michigan in the Huron Forest. And, man, I don't even know how to explain what we had seen going over it, and people sometimes just question it and don't believe it. But what we had seen, this thing stepped out onto the road and walked directly towards the vehicle, was, I would say, at least 8 to 9 feet tall, in dreadlocks, human kind of like face. And when I first recognized it, I thought it was someone on stilts. And it terrified. I mean, everybody in the car, 6 of us, screamed out loud the minute we saw it. And we hauled ass down this timber road, which is a dirt road. And I won't forget it as long as I live. And anybody that can tell me that Bigfoot doesn't exist, I will tell you a different story.
Alex, you've discussed. Say hi to Alex, Scott.
Hi, Alex. Good to talk to you, buddy.
What's up, man?
So, Alex,
I'm doing good.
What do you think about Scott and his family and what they witnessed?
Well, I was at your house actually when Scott first told me the story. It was such a good story, and it's so believable. It made me stop eating those pasta with the chicken thing your Rita makes.
Oh, I remember.
I couldn't stop eating those until Scott started telling me his Bigfoot story, and I stopped eating to listen. And it's honestly, it's one of the, because it's an up close story, and multiple witnesses. And he's he seems like a sane dude. I believe it. I think it's a legitimate encounter.
I do remember. I forgot about that evening. That's absolutely right. We were eating dinner when Scott told us the story.
Yeah, and don't underestimate the part of the shell with the chicken. Whew.
Okay. Yeah, people are still talking about the buffalo chicken stuffed shells. That's what that was.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
It was an amazing evening too. I mean, the food was actually unreal. My wife can't stop talking about it, and I was hungover for like 2 days straight. I could barely get out of bed. I was so hungover.
Well, yeah, and so going back to what Alex was talking about earlier, Scott.
Yeah,
it's one thing to have. Because it's just a story, right? It's just a story. Yeah. We don't have the evidence. I have seen stuff in the sky. I've seen all of the stuff, but it's just a story. Even though you've got corroborating witnesses standing to your left and to your right to back up, and they've seen the same thing, but it's just a story, isn't it?
Right. That's correct. And my dad is 83 right now, and he's from Minneapolis, and he goes, man, if we just had cell phones, I wanted to go back there. And I said, are you kidding me? I mean, do you not realize what we witnessed and how scared all of us and terrified what we were?
Right.
We just wanted to get out of that area.
Right.
I mean, even if we did have cell phones, I'm not sure if I wanted to turn around and go back to what I'd seen. I mean, it took us a little while. Now, here's the strange thing, because the very next day that we actually got to our destination, which is kind of by like Sheboygan, Gaylord City up that way, when we started hunting for mushrooms, we ran into some weird stuff. We saw skeletons, like skulls and stuff that did not look like dogs and stuff, but we saw a pile of this stuff in the woods. I mean, there was some strange stuff going on that day, and I'll tell you, I won't go out in the woods again without being fully packed.
Right. Well, Scott,
here's also the bigger point here, and this transcends into UFO and even paranormal phenomena. So this is a great story, right? So I'm used to I've interviewed hundreds of people throughout the years for different phenomena, and I get a pretty good sense of what's a true story, what's not, what's considered evidence, what's not. Too often in this field, we consider his story as an end point.
Right.
It's evidence, why we put it in the evidence category. But what it really should be is the beginning point of your next inquiry.
Right.
Use it as kind of like a working hypothesis instead of as a theory, and there's a difference.
Yeah.
And I think, and that goes back to what we were talking about earlier, and that's where we really should start switching gears in all these fields.
Well, and I appreciated your honesty earlier, Alex, which was you contradicting yourself in that you shouldn't go to where all the sightings are, but maybe you should go to where all the sightings are. And it sounded like you wanted to do both, but you don't know what to suggest. But you even said that you were contradicting yourself because really we don't know what to do we?
Well, I think we do. Well, I think I do. I could be wrong, obviously, but there's also what you would do if you had limited times and money and equipment available versus what you do within what you have, available to you. So that's the big difference,
Let's go back.
And we got it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go for it.
I was going to say, let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Madeline from New Jersey.
Hi, Marilyn from New Jersey. How are you?
Madeline from New Jersey.
Oh, hi, Madeline. Say hi to Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Hi, Madeline.
It's this is my second time calling. My boyfriend and I love your show.
Thank you.
I did get taken today. I'm in a migraine group, and they had a message that the migraine group was going to disband. And I was like, oh, my God, what are we going to do? There must be a way to stop this. And I really, really believed it. And then I saw people saying, oh, it's April Fool's. And I was like, oh, man. But I really, really believed it. And I was like, what are we going to do? Well, who are we going to talk to about our migraines?
Well, does that...
I got taken.
Yeah, and of all things, right, it's your migraine group. That was the last thing on April Fool's Day, right? But you still got taken. Why?
I did. I truly, truly believed it. And if I didn't see people's posts saying, oh, it's an April Fool's, I would have kept on believing it.
So it did turn out to be April Fool's.
Yes. Thank God for that.
Okay, yeah, thank God. Marilyn, why is it on March 31st that the next day is April Fool's, right? You know this going into this morning, and so does the rest of the country, right? But here we go. And I was watching so many posts today on different obvious fake stuff where I was actually kind of laughing. And I'm watching people's reaction. You've got to be kidding me. You're joking, right? And I did the news stories at the beginning of this show today, mixed in with real stories. And I'm watching people's reaction on Twitter to what I was, and it was like, wait a minute, don't you know it's April Fool's? Well, even this audience gets taken.
Well, I was trying to look for the obvious, but this was serious. I'm like, this is a migraine group. How could they do this? So it just didn't faze me that they would joke about it.
Now, you were listening to, and I want you to email Rita after you hang up and give us your address, and we'll get you a Fade to Black mug.
Awesome. That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Our pleasure. But when you listen to Alex today talk about the issues within our community, do you feel the same thing that Alex is laying out here?
The issues in our community with non-believers?
Well, with the way research is done with and different researchers and celebrities that are out there, it doesn't matter if it's UFOs or if it's Bigfoot or the paranormal. We didn't even go that far into cryptozoology or the Nazca mummies or the Roswell mummy of a few years ago. Remember that one, Alex? Right?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, I was shocked by some of the things Alex was saying, but it's just, things are out there, and I don't care if you're a celebrity or what. It's how everybody interprets it. Everybody interprets things differently, and I've never witnessed anything. I wish I had, but it's just shock.
Yeah, you're right.
I agree with some of the things that he said.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's the beautiful thing about freedom of speech in this country, too, as well. Madeline, don't forget to email Rita. You've got her email address, Rita@jimmychurchradio.com, and we'll get that mug straight out to you.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Jimmy. Good night, Jimmy. God bless you. God bless you, too, Alex.
Thank you
Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
You too, Madeline. Thank you so much. And you know what's great about that phone call, Alex, is she said something that was key. She's never witnessed anything, but she listens to this show. Right? I love that aspect of it. You don't have to be somebody that has seen or witnessed or is a huge flag waver. these questions rest out there in this community, and people are trying to find out what is going on, and that is amazing. Oh, we lost Alex. So while I'm waiting for Alex to find another spot in his abode, I'm going to go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, is this me?
Yes, I think it's you. You tell me.
Hey, yeah, it's me. Hey, I don't know if I got taken or not, but I was looking at your website today, and on my cell phone, all the photos were upside down. Did you guys do that on purpose?
Oh, are you kidding me? They were upside down?
Yeah.
It sounds like the feds they're trying to see the man's trying to shut us down, man. What's your name?
My name's Randy. I'm from Buffalo, New York. I called a couple weeks ago.
Oh, Randy, that's right. Randy, you know I don't remember that. But welcome.
No, yeah. But...
I'm just messing with you, Randy.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, I got a... Oh, no, it's okay. So I have a ghost story.
Go. Say hi to Alex. He's listening. He's right here.
Hey, I hope you're back. I hope you can hear me. Yeah, when we were younger, I have a younger brother who's a couple years younger than me. We were growing up. I was always scared of the dark until I got a little older. He always liked the dark. But as we got older, the roles switched. Well, when he was about 12 or 13 years old, my parents, they left him home alone for a couple hours. So when they came back, all the lights in the house were on. It was dark out. And they were like, what? What's going on? They came in the house and he wasn't there. So they were worried. So they went next door. My grandmother lived next door growing up. They went there and he was there. He didn't have no shoes on. He ran out of the house in his bare feet. So they were like, well, what happened? He said, I was in the house and the kitchen light went off. And I got scared. Something scared me. I ran over here. So they were laughing, there's nothing wrong. The kitchen light was on. We went in the house. All the lights were on, You got to, making fun of them a little bit. So the next day at dinner, we're all sitting at the table, and in my kitchen, my parents' kitchen, there's 3 doors, one to the attic, one to the basement, and one to my parents' bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
We're all sitting at the table in the kitchen, and the middle door to the basement was open. It was like a hot day, and the cool air coming from the basement, we had the door open. This was before we had AC or anything. So we're all sitting around the kitchen table, we're having dinner, and we're bringing up the story from yesterday, and we're kind of like laughing about it and joking about it and making fun of him for being scared of the dark. So right as he's getting frustrated, he kind of shouted out, he's like, there's no such thing as ghosts. Well, as soon as he said that, that basement door slammed shut.
That's what I'm talking about.
As soon as that basement door slammed shut, the phone rang. So my father, sitting next to the phone, picked up the phone. Hello? It's my grandmother. All of a sudden, his face got white. He didn't even want to tell us, but we knew. We were like, what? What's wrong? He said, your grandmother just called. She said the old lady that lived in the house before we bought it passed away last night.
You gotta love that, Randy. Yeah, that's a great story. Now, see, Alex, when you hear that, it's just like I get it, right? When you hear a story like that, we hear it over and over again. That's evidence to me. I mean, where do we go when it comes to ghosts?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a plethora of stories like that, and I believe some of them, right? And I think it's true, but it's evidence. But until you can link the event to the grandmother's death, and we can't yet, it's not hard evidence from a scientific perspective. From perspective, you have to prove this to everybody. Where there's no way they can deny the correlation between, in this case, with the grandmother's death and the events. But we can't do that yet.
Well,
I know. I'm a pain in the ass, but that's how I think we need to think. Start taking it to the next level, so to speak.
Well, okay. Hey, Randy, check this out.
It wasn't my grandmother who passed away.
It was the lady in the house.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Oh, the lady in the house.
My parents, when my parents bought the house, they bought it for like $12,000. Real cheap. The house was the ugliest house on the street. When you were looking at it from the front, it was kind of crooked. The kids used to throw plums at it. We had plum trees in the yard. They used to throw plums at it, and there was a haunted house on the street, you know. Well, my parents fixed it up little by little, you know. And we theorized that, well, there were 2 or 3 sisters that lived in the house before. You know, this was probably before, you know, I was born, really. But when my parents bought the house, they bought it cheap from this older lady who had to get put away. You know, she was so old, she had to get put in a nursing home. She was the lady that passed away. What was weird was, you know, my parents had been fixing up the house little by little, and we theorized that maybe when you pass away, where you've spent your life for a long time of your life, where you've put your energy or your soul, piece of yourself into this life, maybe when you pass away, if things are different now, maybe she wanted to look at the house now. You know, we had remodeled it and everything. Maybe you just, when you die, you get a chance to kind of take a peek or revisit your history, or, you know, I have no idea. This is just me guessing, but I feel like the soul has a brief moment where it can experience, you know, the world or its past, or, you know.
Yeah.
Just weird, you know. It's just...
Hey, look, I agree. I'll share this. And Randy, thank you for the phone call, my friend, and have a great night. Oh, email Rita. I'll send you a mug. Email Rita right now.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Randy. Is this? We were up. Rita and I were up in Shasta. I'm going to tell the story really quick. And we were at this. We were staying in a house that was like 150 years old. You know, I forget, 1870 or something. And the bedroom door had these, you know, the old door handles on it. And you had to push the door shut. It was a solid wood door. You had to push the door shut and then turn the door handle to get the latch to, you know, and you had to really close the door physically. And I would test it, you know, open it, right? Okay, all right, and push it and latch it. We're lying in bed, Alex, I swear, and we're sitting there talking about this house, and that door handle turned. That thing said click, click, and popped open, right? And I was like, what? I didn't get out of bed. I let that thing sit right where it was, Alex. There was no way. I could not believe it. Physically, you know, for me to turn that, it was like effort, right? And to get it to latch and close. And that thing turned, man. It turned. One last phone call. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, it's Sarah Ann. How are you?
This is Fran?
I'm sorry, Sarah Ann.
Oh, hi, Sarah Ann. How are you?
Good. Hi, Alex.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
So did you get taken today?
I did. My parents put a bug on my pillow, a fake bug.
Oh, that's not cool.
It wasn't cool at all.
And what kind of bug was it? That's
it was like a big, yeah, and I lived in New York City for 10 years, so I have a roach, you know, fear, and it was like a big plastic roach that looked really real. But, you know, I've done this to my parents, so I sort of deserved it.
Oh, man, did you jump out of bed? That's not cool.
Oh, it wasn't cool at all. I mean, there were body functions that had, I mean, it was awful.
Yeah.
It was like the worst way to wake up.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, your parents are cool. Your parents are spot on the money. I got to remember that one. I'm going to do that to my kids next year. That's awesome.
Oh.
That's awesome.
Oh.
Well, Sarah Ann, thank you. Thank you for that. And do me a favor, wherever you are in the country right now, email Rita and give us the address. We'll get a mug out to you.
Oh, yay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah Ann. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you too. Wow. Alex, thank you so much for a great show tonight. And it's really funny that sometimes, even in our community, it's tough to hear, you know, the truth or a real status of things.
Yeah.
Because, you know, part of what makes us united in this community is some of our emotional and personal beliefs that we have invested in here. And sometimes reality is a bit harsh. but you have always stood up for that. You've had your sightings. See, this is the thing with you, Alex. You've had your UFO contact and sightings. You've had crazy things that went down in Chicago. We didn't even talk about that stuff. We've had your Bigfoot research. You've been to Skinwalker. You've been all over the country. Your paranormal stuff. Your experience with Barry Taff and other paranormal and ghost hunting crews. So you've been out there doing this, and it's not like, you absolutely believe all of this is real. But we need to push real research, and that is where you come from, my man. And thank you so much for everything that you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Jimmy. That means a lot to me.
Now, how do we fund this research? I'll give you 90 seconds. You've talked about putting together professional teams. How do we fund this research?
I have no idea, to be honest. I don't know. If I did, I would be doing it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, I have a GoFundMe and people can help me out personally, but that's not enough to, get things going. I don't know. I have a few ideas, but it would take a little more than a couple minutes. But I have a big idea, but it'd be kind of a long explanation.
Well, then we'll bring you on later on in the week, maybe Thursday night, to talk about this further, because it's not just funding a trip, but then you have DNA and laboratory analysis and photo and video analysis that needs to be done, and all of this, and a whole other list of closed setting research that cost money. And
yeah, so I think you need a non-team, like a team that's not a team, when you pull in from different sources when you need it for a particular subject type of thing, but.
Thank you so much, my friend.
No, thanks again, Jimmy.
And I look forward to your next trip over to Casa Day Church and another late night conversation.
All right.
Thank you, Alex. Behave and be well out there, my friend.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Alex Mistretta. And you can follow Alex on Twitter now, Alex_Mistretta. We've got that up right there on our Twitter feed. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Camurian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast owned and copyrighted 2019 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tomorrow night, right here, Billy Carson, part 2 of his 4-part The Emerald Tablets of Thought. Until tomorrow night, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Tepe.